Hello everybody, got another video for you. This is almost a part 3 to my last 2 videos here in Glendale. Still in downtown Glendale. Kinda am, kinda not. Like on the side, I guess. I'm at 61st and Myrtle, which is north of Glendale, right where Grand intersects. I'm showing you this, the Morcomb service station and house, built in the 30s. Yeah, this has been here for a good little bit. It's a service station. Back in the day, I remember at a point this thing, they just restored all this. I guess you can call it restore it. Several years ago. Before that, this area was a mess. Just looked like an old dilapidated building. Couldn't even really tell there was 2 different buildings. It seemed like. There was a bunch of other stuff that was here. Yeah, they've really cleaned this up quite a bit. Sorry, it's going to be noisy here. Grand Avenue here. Everybody's got to be obnoxious on here. But yeah, this was a home and service station. So this area was originally had a golf course, I guess, an 18-hole like putt-putt golf course. Just kind of interesting for 30s, especially kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, Glendale was kind of developing, where downtown Glendale is, the original part of Glendale. Yeah, well, they had a putt-putt course, surprisingly in the 30s, but kind of nowhere. But that's what it was, and then I guess they had this for like a year, and then turned it into a homestead and service station. Placard up there for, this was the house. The service station part was this other little building. Tried to find some old pictures how it was set up. I know they got some gas pumps right over here. I'm going to assume those are in front of the little building, since that's the service building. Would have made sense for back then. This was a highway, so I'm assuming the pumps are out there on the road like typically are, but they got some set up here. Just they have this little park deal set up. Got all these little glass mural type thingies. Just talks about the history of Glendale. The first one was when Glendale started, and this one's for future kind of stuff that's happened now, everything. Yeah, it's a simple little park. It's neat. If you come here, the biggest thing that stands out is that Napa building. If you know where that's at, you'll find it. Neat little thing. This one's missing. It'd been cool to see what that one was. So. But yeah, neat little park. Surprised there's no homeless here. Glendale's always been pretty good about controlling the homeless. They're a huge problem here in Phoenix. I mentioned it in my downtown Phoenix videos. Phoenix is the worst just because it's so big, and only got so many people can do so much, and that's where like all the service areas are for homeless people and everything. This park, I know a few years ago, was just littered with homeless, so I didn't know what to expect coming out here this morning. But yeah, I've seen 1 or 2 go by, so I was glad I could come out here and shoot, because I didn't think I was going to be able to. But I knew it'd be busy. It's with Grand. It's, like I said, it's kind of a made road, but it's kind of a highway too. But yeah, here's the Napa. There's a Circle K over there. So you're gonna hear a lot of loud cars. Kind of how it goes here in Phoenix. So yeah, it's pretty simple, right on the outskirts. You go down Myrtle, behind me. Like I said, this is 61st. If you go down toward like 59th, that's where downtown Glendale is. The Catlin Court, City Hall, the other stuff I've seen. If you watch my previous 2 videos about Glendale, that's where I was at. So, but yeah, little parking lot here. 60, that's 61st, this road that's back over here. It does not connect with Grand. This was kind of a pain to get to because they're doing construction north of it. I didn't really pay attention to the road I was at. But basically, if you get north of Myrtle, get to 61st, you can get to this. Trying to think, I don't think there's really a road. There's Orangewood is up that way, but it looks like that's where they're doing the construction. You can see a sign here. Looks like the road is Northview, so I'm assuming probably get Northview from 59th, or I don't think you get to 60th from Myrtle. But yeah, the street's closed up there. Not easy way to get here, but yeah, I thought the road dead ended here until I got here. I thought I was gonna have to park on 61st, but then I saw this little drive, and then clearly you saw the little parking lot over here. So, but yeah. So it's kind of cool if you like old stuff like that, like this. You'll see some old, extremely tetanus-ridden gas pumps. You don't really see those a lot out here. You get like Route 66 and stuff, you'll see the old gas pumps and stuff, but that was kind of cool. Those ones are usually in better shape, painted and everything. But there's a piece of history here. Fortunately, they saved it. It's on the registry. So it looks like they're going to take care of it for at least a little while, and see how long they want to keep it. But yeah, it's kind of cool. They got these little towers, rims, car rims. Kind of interesting. A lamp post. Alright, so yeah, this is basically it. So, start here and show you one more thing on the other side of downtown Glendale that I forgot about too. See you over there. Alright, here we are, basically the other side of downtown Glendale. We're at the Glendale Women's Clubhouse. Sign up here that says it. This is built, well, it came about in 1901. You know, they got the building, what did it say? 1912. Talks about the sugar beet factory, opened 1907. It's like it grew from there, from possibly women working there. But the gentleman that moved here, 1915, Otto Hansen, he basically just bought the land around here. I believe it was like 80 acres. And see what he had plans to do, but I'm sure with development, with the beet farm, with the sugar beet plant going up, everything else going on here, probably wanted to invest in it, just like everybody else that came out here back in those days wanted to get in on the action before all the land disappeared. You know, people are doing what they could to make money back then. So he bought the land. They apparently they had this building. His wife donated the building to the group because they were meeting, I think, another facility. I know I read that they were meeting in homes. I guess they just outgrew. Homes were not very big back then, so it wouldn't surprise me. I think they said they got up to like 85 members or something, which no way you're fitting that one of these little bungalow style homes. So yeah, the Hansons had this property. The significance of this is that the Catlin Court that I showed in my previous video at Glendale, the little square we have here that has all kinds of businesses and everything. Found out that Hanson's wife, her maiden name was Catlin. So that's why it's named that, because he owned that area and named that after her maiden name. So I figured there's a reason. I'd just never seen anything about Catlin. I figured it was a guy, because usually everything's always about the guy who settled or whatnot, but come to find out it was some guy's wife's maiden name. So don't know how much more she played a part of the development of Glendale. I'm just surprised there's a women's club, because back then women just kind of were in the background. Didn't get to do much, but that's kind of the reason they made this club. They did all kinds of pioneering here. Read something about created a library. Did like other developing, like parks and stuff. So this club is not just a spot for women just to hang out and chat and whatnot. They were actually doing stuff. They're developing Glendale, it seemed like, for the most part. So yeah, this is kind of tucked off. Down here is Glendale. This is 56th Drive. So it's just right off the street. It's actually, if you see my previous video, church I showed, it's right there. There's a parking lot. The murals on the storage containers I showed are there, and then the Civic Center is in the back, and that bank is over there. So you're at the Civic Center. You just walk right over here and park in that parking lot. See this historic building? It is on the registry. Surprisingly, since, well, I guess it's over 100 years old. Typically everything's got to be over 100 years old to get on the registry, but they make some exceptions. I've seen some places that are about 70, 80 years old. But if it played a crucial role, they typically do what they can to preserve it and save it. They've done a good job with this building, because it's all, you see it's all wood paneling. So they've done a good job keeping this up. They still run out of here, from what the sign. Yeah, club still owns and uses the building today. So not sure what they do. I did look it up. You can book it. There's a sign over here that says you can book events. They got some pictures on the inside, so it looks like maybe weddings. There's this little trussel, I think they call these things. So it looks like you can just have weddings here, graduations, or whatever. It's really cool. So yeah, if you want to see another historic building that's actually in good shape and it's still being used, come check out this building and maybe get a house and event here. Alright, on our next spot. Alright, so now I'm at 59th and Greenway, just south of Greenway. Not downtown Glendale, almost North Glendale. I'm at Arizona Christian University. It's 59th up there, Greenway's up there. There's a QT, it's a point of reference up that way. And I know you're going to wonder, why am I here? This used to be an airfield back about when World War II started. Movie Thunderbirds that was filmed like late 30s. was actually filmed here. This was started, I forget exactly why, but basically a training field. Had a lot of sponsorship from like Cary Grant, a bunch of actors back then. For some odd reason they sponsored to have this area built. This was out in the desert back then. No one was out this way. So it's a good spot for an airfield. I actually had a lot of these. I mean, we still have some Air Force bases and stuff here. But this is training grounds. Scottsdale Air Park, I found out, is the second location. This was the first built. That one was second, and then we had like 4 others around the valley. Central Phoenix, one out towards Sun City. There's no remnants of anything. This place is pretty much the only place that had anything left. But I just thought it was interesting. As many times I've driven by this school. It's a Christian school now. It was a global university several years ago, but they're the ones that originally bought the land after the base was gone. But they've since left. That's for the little placard for the Thunderbird pilots. But yeah, it's cool. The setup is here. If you can find pictures of it, they actually designed it. All the buildings and everything over here is in the shape of a Thunderbird. This is kind of cool. Even back then, they were trying to be creative. So, but yeah, this is actually right off of 59th. When you pull in, there's a entrance. I came up from that way. So as soon as you come in, it's like your first left. It's just here in the parking lot. It's the football field. So if you've driven by this, this used to be an airfield. You probably had no idea. So, but yeah, if you want to find this little plaque, check things out. Just look for the football field, the main entrance. I believe there was only one entrance on 59th. I came in off of Greenway just to kind of get my bearings. So, but yeah, this is cool. I'm going to show you, see if I can find the other buildings. I see the tower from here. The barracks are still being used as dorm buildings, and there's a hangar that, if you find pictures, it's painted white. I drove by it on the way in. It's yellow now. The school's like really changed all this. Like, this field was never this nice. These guys have really updated this school. It was pretty run down before. But yeah, if you're interested, you can cruise through here and see a little piece of history. Nobody probably has any idea this used to be an airfield for the Air Force. Alright, so this is Thunderbird Commons. I don't know the significance of this building or if it's original. So that was kind of cool. Came over here to show the tower building. I assume this is the original tower. It looks like it from what I saw in old pictures. Doesn't really look like a tower, but I don't know, back then maybe that's how they made it. It's the design they went with. It's kind of cool. It looks like this is a restaurant. Student hub from what the sign says. It's a little building here. But yeah, it's kind of cool. There's a pole up there. It's like where the windsock would go so they can check wind direction and all that fun stuff. But yeah, this is kind of neat that this is still here and still being utilized. I wonder how many people gone to this school and had no idea this was actually just the airfield almost 100 years ago. It's kind of interesting. There's a neon sign on the door that says they're open. It doesn't look like they're open. There's people here. I'm sure it's people do stuff here. I'm here on a Sunday morning. Yeah, I doubt anything's gonna be open or anything right now. That's a cool little mural. I'm sure I could go in there, but let's see if I can zoom. Try not to be creepy. There is security. I saw him when I was at that last shoot. he just let me do my thing. So I think he saw that I had a camera and everything. He figures I'm not really up to anything, which I'm not, but I ain't trying to cause any trouble. So this building is right across. There's the football field, the event center that I showed you where that plaque was. There's the parking lot. Some of the buildings, I'm not going to bore you too much with that. Old buildings are in the shape of the wings of the Thunderbird. The tower is supposed to be the tail. You've seen a picture, it makes more sense. So I'm assuming the head's that way. There's probably a building that stands out where the head is. It may even be gone at this point. I'm not sure, but yeah, if you see an aerial view, it's in the shape of a Thunderbird. Obviously, I can't show you that now, but yeah, it'd be cool if I had a drone. I could have done it. But if you're interested, you can look it up. Not too fascinating, but or at least show this, talk about it, let you know just one of the cool things of history we still have here. Kind of interesting, like I said in the last clip. I wonder how many people just drive by here and just think it's always just been a school, and or how many kids just come here and think it was just a college, and nobody has any idea this used to be an airfield for military training. So alright, well, got one more little spot, and I think that's about it here. It's going to be kind of a simple video, but I wanted to cover all this stuff for you. Alright, I'll go find that hangar. Hopefully that what I saw was what it was. Alright, so this is south of Greenway. This is the entrance I came in. I think it's at 57th. This is, I think, one of two entrances. This one and the one by the ball field. You'll see the apartments. But this was the hangar. Pictures I looked at online, it was white, so I'm not surprised they changed it to kind of match the rest of the buildings, because they're all pretty much this beigey cream color, just like about any other building here in Phoenix. But yeah, this is just kind of a separate part. Drove by this building over here. Driving by the behind this, you can't see it, and on the other side, where the barracks were, now the dorm buildings, you can kind of see how they're lined up to make the wings of the Thunderbird. That building, I'm thinking right there, is kind of the head of the Thunderbird. Kind of what I could tell from driving around and everything. But yeah, it's just kind of hard to tell at ground level. You really just got to look at pictures. So you can definitely tell this is a hangar. That's guaranteed. I don't know if this was originally part of it. Just walking over here, I want to show you a picture of Thunderbird so you kind of have an idea what I'm talking about. Obviously, look it up. But that's kind of the design that they went for. The globes in there, because I'm assuming that's from the other colleges, Thunderbird Global School of Technology or something. Now it's just a general Christian college. Looks like they have a bunch of churches here too. That building back there listed one church. I saw a little banner for another on the other side of this building. So, but yeah, this is kind of interesting. Just neat little area. A lot of people probably don't even realize this used to have fighter jets in it 90 years ago at this point. So it's like, oh, it's just a church building. They probably have like little events going on in there, or put their little golf carts in there or something. Like, no, this is a training field 90 years ago. There used to be fighter jets in there. So, but yeah, that's what's kind of odd, looking up the other locations. I wish there was other things I could see. I'll probably do the Scottsdale one when I get out to Scottsdale. I didn't really feel like driving across town just for kind of a museum out there. I don't think they have buildings. This is pretty much the only location that has buildings left. So, but yeah, I'll probably show that museum when I get up to Scottsdale. It's in North Scottsdale. But yeah, the other places, I'm sure there isn't anything because it's all residential, commercial. So, just interesting places. One of them's like half a mile from the base of the mountain. I don't know how that worked, but maybe they didn't fly jets out of there. Sometimes they just have locations to house people and equipment and stuff. Not, even though it was an airfield, they may not have used it as an airfield, or they might have, and they just learned not to hit that mountain. So, all right, I'm gonna cruise around here a little bit, make sure I didn't miss anything, but I think that's pretty much it. Probably find a spot to end this video. All right, see you in a second. All right, I cruised around. I didn't see anything of any other significance. I think that's pretty much it. I did see a building back where I first started. It was a curved building. At first I thought that was going to be where the tower was. That kind of looks like where the tail would be. I don't know. It could have been a newer building. There are some newer buildings that way. This is one of the sides. The hangar is over there. But you can see there's these long buildings here. You can see how they're fanned out to look like wings. But there's just some other random buildings. So it's really hard to tell because I'm sure a lot of them are probably newer. So I mean, it's been here for about 100 years, so there's no telling what's new, what's old. Some you can just tell are old. Yeah, it's a cool old thing. When I came out of the hangar there, I noticed the entrance of the apartments are right there. It's actually called Hangar at Thunderbird, I think it was. But like, that's just kind of funny. It's called Hangar. No one has any idea that that was a hangar building right there. So I just thought that was cool. So yeah, it's a bunch of houses around here now. I remember this is all just dirt around here. So, but yeah, south of here is Thunderbird Road. I have a feeling it's probably got its name from this airfield. Don't know for no, I don't really know, but it's speculation. There's a good chance pretty much all the main roads are named after somebody or something. Like south of that's Cactus. Obviously we have tons of cactus here. But yeah, if you just do research on a lot of the names here in Phoenix, are typically someone's name or named after something, or there's a reason for it. So, but, right, I'm gonna flip this around real quick. Bear with me. All right. Well, thanks for coming along with me today. I know this video is kind of but I had to put it out here. So my goal is to cover the history of Arizona. Just kind of flew you in on some stuff. So it was fun. I like doing this kind of stuff, doing research, finding out things. So it gives me something to do. It's better than just sitting at home doing nothing, watching TV. So, but yeah, I like finding out stuff about stuff, sharing things with people. People are always surprised. I know certain things or why I'd even want to learn about certain things. Arizona's just a cool place, and it's fun. All kinds of adventures you can find, history, nature. Shout out a little sorrel cactus behind me. It's a roundabout, so that's kind of like the circle part. I just thought it was interesting. Doesn't look very healthy, but a lot of saguaros don't. So, alright, well, I'm going to wrap this up. I think that's enough of this video. I don't know how much more at Glendale there is to cover. Probably some, I think I about covered all the historical stuff. There's not a lot of stuff left. So, kind of why I wanted to cover this and everything, so. But, alright, until we meet again, I'm going to leave you right here. See you on the next adventure. Not sure what I'm doing. I know I do have Peoria in the plans. I'll be getting back to Phoenix, obviously. There's still a lot of Phoenix to cover. So I'll be doing that. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Anything you're curious to see, I've mentioned in other videos. Let me know what you want to see. I'm going to cover everything. But I want to get stuff out there that people want to see a lot more than, if there's stuff no one's really interested in, that stuff can wait. I'd rather be putting out, content that you want to see now. But it's going to happen, so don't worry about it. If I haven't got to it yet, I'm going to. Yeah, nothing's going to get forgotten, trust me. Unless it's something I don't know about. Maybe you mentioned something I don't know about. Highly unlikely, but hey, it's a possibility. I know a lot about Arizona, but I don't know everything. I'm not going to claim to know 100%. There's no way I know everything. So, but yeah. Alright, well, that's it for now. I'll see you on the next adventure and see what happens on that one. And it'll be a good one. I guarantee you, you're going to learn something. Alright, we'll see you.